Alright, so welcome everyone. Great that you're here. So we can start this so-called final episode of the mystical moments. Today we have Yogananda as a guest, as a special guest in the spotlight. So Yogananda brings us Bible, brings us the New Testament. And in that sense, it was interesting for me to bring him in this time, just because he wrote like a 3-episode book about Jesus, and he's an Eastern master. And I haven't used that book before, and actually I studied it a lot for a year or so. I've been, that was in some time ago. We, with a bunch of guys, so to speak, we were studying the book. And you see that the language is totally different than you're used to by a Western master. So that makes it extra interesting to still connect with it, but in a totally different way. No, that's what we do today too. So you connect with it in a different way, but the light is still the same. And that makes it interesting for me to share it with you. You can really say like, it's not about the wording, of course. We see this a lot in the mystical moments. Like, it's not about the words, but we're going for the essence of it, for the light behind it. And that's exactly the same, since truth is true. So that can mean that you don't understand anything the way that the person shares, but still have a light recognition with it. And this is what I mean. So that is really lovely to discover, that it really doesn't matter what language is spoken or from which tradition somebody comes. If there is a universal recognition, you can recognize it. That's what this is about. So that's the treasure we're hunting. As I said in the introduction of this program, it's like it's a treasure hunt, kind of a treasure hunt. We're looking for light recognition. So yeah, it's really lovely. Now today I want to listen to Yogananda. I want to listen to Yogananda. I made a recording this morning and I want to use that. It's called The Power of Peace Be Still. And he comes up with a beautiful example of his own master. And that's lovely to see that. That's one thing. Now the other, what I'm going to start off with is a meditation. And this is from A Course in Miracles, but also very different. It's from chapter 31. So you might recognize it, but now it's presented as something in itself that we're actually using as an contemplation. So I want to start with that, to become still and start from the very beginning. So welcome back to the mystical moments, and I'm going to enjoy the meditation for now. So let us be still an instant. And forget all things we ever learned, all thoughts we had, and every preconception that we hold of what things mean and what their purpose is. Let us remember not our own ideas of what the world is for. We do not know. Let every image held of anyone be loosened from our minds and swept away. Be innocent of judgment, unaware of any thoughts of evil or good that ever crossed your mind of anyone. Now, do you know him not? But you are free to learn of him, and learn of him anew. Now is he born again to you, and you are born again to him, without the past that sentenced him to die, and you with him. Now is he free to live as you are free, because an ancient learning passed away and left a place for truth to be reborn. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So that was great to start with. Like it's continuously like a reset, and we start over again to see our brother anew, to see ourselves anew, to see everything new because it is new, and it's not because it isn't new. No, it's like it's a continual renewal. It comes in, it goes out, it comes in, just like the body, but also like your brother, continuously changing. And that's the beauty of this. So this is from chapter 31 of A Course in Miracles. Now, see, I have to admit something, because the interesting part to me, where I always feel like a mushy, warm feeling, you could say, and more than that, is when Jesus comes into the story. So the same with Yogananda. Yogananda can talk beautiful about the cosmic consciousness and out in the stars and astral zones and who knows what altogether. But I'm not really interested in that. But when I feel his love for Jesus, I feel like, oh, that's my guy. I can relate to him. And it's the same what I have with Master Teacher. Master Teacher and Jesus are good friends. And Joel Goldsmith and Meister Eckhart and Jesus are good friends. They are buddies. They relate to one another in a very beautiful way. And of course, it is the essence of you. The Christ is the essence of you. But also in that what is given to us as so-called stories of Jesus, there's a way to relate to that and feel completely at home with it. That makes it easier to receive, in fact, what is given. That's my experience. Like it's easy to receive something that feels very beautifully warm, always certain, always not standard human response, but something that always breaks right through it. How lovely is that? Like that's much more surprising than if I try to come up with a story about the world. Here it's always like, no, it's not that. It's something new. Here, listen to this. Discover this. No, it's not happening over time. It's happening right now. And on and on and on. So, but I see that with Yogananda, it certainly is that way. Like I love to read the movements and the spoken words of Jesus and relate to that. But first, like literally being immersed in Jesus' love and light. And now, okay, whatever you do with that, however you use that to come to a deeper expression of it. So basically, that is, say, an important, integral part of our teaching. Of course, through A Course in Miracles, of course, through Joel, and on and on and on. It's like, it's good to recognize, is what I'm saying. So now we're going to listen to a part where, in fact, we read first from Bible, and then there's a commentary, a revelatory commentary of Yogananda about this, what Jesus demonstrates. That's very lovely. We're going to listen to that. Paramahansa Yogananda, The Second Coming of the Christ, Chapter 9. The Power of Peace Be Still. Now it came to pass on a certain day that he went into a ship with his disciples, and he said unto them, Let us go over unto the other side of the lake. And they launched forth. But as they sailed, he fell asleep, and there came down a storm of wind on the lake, and they were filled with water, and were in jeopardy. And they came to him and woke him, saying, Master, Master, we perish. Then he arose and rebuked the wind and the raging of the water, and they ceased, and there was a calm. And he said unto them, Where is your faith? And they, being afraid, wondered, saying one to another, What manner of man is this? For he commandeth even the winds and the waters, and they obey him. Luke 8:22-25. Jesus, although apparently asleep, inwardly was one with God. The center of an individual's consciousness is in the conscious mind during wakefulness, the subconscious mind during sleep, and in superconscious during deep meditation. When an individual is concentrated in the state of wakefulness, his subconsciousness and superconsciousness remain in the background. When he is asleep, his consciousness and superconsciousness remain in the background, but a master like Jesus, whose center of consciousness is cosmic consciousness, no matter whether his body is awake or asleep, is always awake in spirit, able to watch his body sleeping, or working in the state of wakefulness, even as God watches all human beings equally, whether they are asleep or awake. That is why Jesus had said, Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 farthings, and not one of them is forgotten before God? Matthew 12:6. Present in all space. As God's consciousness is omnipresent, he knows life and death, sleep and wakefulness, of all creatures present in him, even as we know all our thoughts within our one mind. Even as a human being with his one life is conscious of the sensations of his body, or of pain that may occur in any of the 27,000 billion cells of his body. So God's consciousness, being consciously present in all space, knows everything that happens, even in any one of the tiniest atoms among all the countless creations in the cosmos. Jesus questioned his disciples' faith because they did not realize that even though he was asleep, his consciousness was one with the Father, and was awake in the storm, in the boat, and the disciples in everything. If the disciples had had faith in the omnipresent consciousness of Jesus, they would have known his inner consciousness would protect them, even though his body apparently sleep. So Jesus said, Why are you afraid through ignorance, and have not faith in the all-protecting omnipresent power and consciousness within me? With the sanction of the divine will, to prove his omnipresent consciousness and power of God within him, Jesus rose and commanded the forces of nature, winds and water, and addressed the sea. O ye boisterous sea and wind, which are governed by cosmic forces, and who are created and are active according to the will of the omnipresent God, the Father with whom I am one, I command you to change your vibration and be peaceful and quiet. Peace, be still. As soon as Jesus, with his omnipresent consciousness and the omnipresent will of God within him, vibrated peace, the God-guided forces of nature immediately followed his example. It seems to ordinary persons that the wind and ocean are working by blind force without any plan. But it is evident that the harmony in nature, the routine of seasons and the mathematics of the planetary order reveal an intelligent law and cosmic plan of God which governs them. The unthinking person ascribes the law and order in this world to change and nature, to chance and nature. But the divine man who consciously perceives God in everything knows that everything, all planetary and stellar systems, are governed by the will of God. Hence, Jesus, being a master, not through imagination but by self-realization, being one with spirit, and had God-like powers. Even as God controls the elements of nature, Jesus, being one with him, could control the wind and the storm. A miracle of my master which I witnessed. I had the blessing of witnessing the controlling nature of my great master, Swami Sri Yukteswari, once in Puri during a very hot summer day, when there was not the slightest prospect of rain or clouds. I had to participate in one of my master's religious processions. So I went to him and remonstrated that it was almost impossible to lead the procession on the hot sands with bare feet in the city streets. The master replied, I will tell you a secret. Tell no one now. The Lord will send a cloud and drops of rain will cool the sand, that you all may have the procession. So long as you will hold the procession, God will keep the umbrella of clouds over your heads and sprinkle little drops of rain to keep your feet cool. To our group's great astonishment, we noticed that as soon as we started with the religious procession, the entire sky was filled with clouds, as if by magic, and a very light rain fell, cooling off the sands in the city streets. As long as the religious procession of the Master paraded in the streets, the clouds and comforting rain continued. But as soon as the procession came back to the hermitage, the sky burned with the oriental sun, the sand scorched with the extreme heat, and the clouds and the rain passed away as if they had not been. The Master remarked, "Did you see how God works for us? He works for all and responds to all, but few consciously realize when God consciously responds to their prayers. God is not partial to a few devotees, but responds to all if they would have faith in Him. Human children ought to have implicit faith in the omnipresent power and kindness of their one cosmic Father. So you see how lovely that is. And so with the Bible, with what Yogananda is sharing too, it is always coming back to, why don't you have faith? Why don't you have faith? No, of course God is going to take care of you. Of course you can trust that. Like it always comes back to that. Like the whole Bible through, you can say, are stories of distrust, where that wasn't necessary. And where somebody broke through that, it becomes a miraculous story where something else was possible that nobody knew was possible. People walking out, like Paul, walking out of the prison, and through his cage, so to speak, just walking out of it. Some angels standing ready. Now, I love this. I love this because basically we're training our faith on our reliance on God over and over and over and over and over again, and inviting it in and using it. And inviting it in, how do you do that? Well, by asking for it. It's like, how is this going to come about? Instead of you being afraid that it's not going to work out, in that moment you limit it by your fear. But if you keep it open and say, like, how is this going to come about? Show me. Then something can change. So that is the invitation. Like, one makes you happy and the other is always a limitation. Now this is what we train, and that's great. Look at what we're doing. It's a great training to discover the freedom of that. You have full support, but it has nothing to do with your ideas, of your fears. It has nothing to do with your fears. But it will always come back to that. What I mean with that is, like, it always comes back to, are you simply trusting that God is taking care of you? And you probably have beautiful stories about that. Well, I'd love to hear them. But see, this is a developing story for ourselves that keeps coming back. So also today, then, with Yogananda. So he has to go on a procession for his master, and it's like, oh my God, no, please, I'm gonna burn my feet here. Like, he was afraid that his feet would get burned, and his master reminded him that everything is taken care of. There will be a solution. You will see. Rely on that. Rely on the Lord. He's giving you everything. He's not making you suffer. So, really beautiful. All right, so I'm going to keep it a bit short today with this. Like, I'm going to let you do the talking since you're all here. Yeah, here's Angel again. My voice is a little bit not so real comfortable, so I want to let you do the talking. So we start with our non-public part, and I'll see it from there. Why you must love God more than anything else in the world. I've realized by searching for lasting love that it was someone else who cared for me through all human loves. The divine has loved me as mother, as father, and as friends. But why are we made to feel love for our family members and friends, only to watch them slip away one by one? These events take place to help us realize that it is God who is loving behind the loved ones. You should understand the importance of cultivating divine relationship with God and not wasting any more time. The difficulty about this motion picture of life is that all realities seem real and all realities seem unreal.
Each night in sleep the world is made to disappear from our consciousness, so we might understand that the material universe is not real. This lesson of sleep comes not to frighten us, but to make us seek the reality of God. You can never be satisfied with anything but God and His love. His Spirit is the reality that nothing else can match. Don't yearn for human love, it will vanish. Behind human love is the spiritual love of God. Seek that. The greatest love you can experience is the communion with God in meditation. The love between the soul and spirit is the perfect love. The love you are all seeking. When you meditate, the love grows. Millions of thrills pass through your heart. If you learn to control sex attraction and attachment to human beings, and if you strive to love all and to meditate more deeply, there will come into your life such love as you have never dreamed possible. If you meditate deeply, a love will come over you such as no human tongue can describe. You will know this, His divine love, and you will be able to give that pure love to others. In the consciousness of one who is immersed in the divine love of God, there is no deception, no narrowness of caste and greed, no boundaries of any kind. When you experience that divine love, you will see no difference between flower and beast, between one human being and another. You will commune with all nature, and you will love equally all mankind. True love is divine, and divine love is joy. The more you meditate seeking God with a burning desire, the more you will feel that love in your heart. The greatest romance is with the infinite. You have no idea how beautiful life can be when you suddenly find God everywhere. When He comes and talks to you and guides you, the romance of divine love has begun. There's no one to whom we owe love more than to God, and there is no love sweeter than the love God gives to those who seek Him. So why spend all your time pursuing temporary human love? Conjugal, familiar, fraternal, all forms of human love have blind alleys. Divine love is the only perfect love. It is God who is playing hide and seek in the corridors of heart, that perchance behind lesser human loves you may find His all-satisfying love. God doesn't readily respond to us because we are shy before Him. We fail to show how much we want Him. Don't be afraid of Him. Call Him your own and pursue Him unceasingly, in thought and in action, and you will find Him to be the greatest haven of safety. So many years are gone from our lives already, and only so many years, weeks, days and hours are left. Don't waste time. In your heart, tell Him night and day, Lord, I want Thee. Never be insincere about that. Love God. Talk to Him every second of your life, in activity and in silence, with deep prayer, with the unceasing desire of your heart, and you shall see the screen of delusion melt away. Don't pray for home or for money or worldly love or friendship. Don't pray for anything of this world. Enjoy only what the Lord gives you. All else leads to delusion. No other duty is important if it takes your thought and desire away from your duty to God. All else is illusion. Nor should you question God. You will reap only doubt. You will not be able to understand His laws until you become one with Him. So why waste time trying to understand them by an intellectual approach? Don't try to solve these riddles of life. You will be lost. When you find God, in the last chapter, He will give you the solutions to all the enigmas of human life, and you won't be able to question His wisdom when you hear His replies. Live with God in your heart and have no fear in the world. Fear will be afraid of you. You will be free from this cosmic delusion. Then you will smile. I know at last the mystery of it all. But don't try to know first. Love God first. Then He will tell you everything, and you can smile with an eternal smile. I want to instill this understanding in your hearts until you realize that God is important, more important than anything else, and until you spend your life in seeking to please Him, you are not spiritually evolved at all. Man has come on earth solely to learn to know God. He is here for no other reason. To all those who seek God and love Him, He tells of that great life where there is no pain, no old age, no war, no death, only eternal assurance. In that life, nothing is destroyed. There is only inevitable happiness that will never grow stale, a happiness always new. So that is why it is worthwhile to seek God. All those who sincerely seek Him will surely find Him. Those who want to love the Lord and who sincerely wish in their hearts to know Him will find Him. You must have an ever-increasing desire for God day and night. He will acknowledge your love by fulfilling His promise to you throughout eternity. Then you shall know joy and happiness unending. Use the night hours as much as you can, and the early morning, and all free moments between demanding duties to pray inward to God with all your soul. Reveal thyself. Solitude is the price of God realization. Wake, waste no more time in blind believing. Follow the tested methods of attaining self-realization and know God.